Hi, I'm Amy Finley, and this is Across the Fence. If you've ever been lucky enough to have a good, long chat with a beloved elder, you know how important those conversations can be, for both of you. You walk away feeling closer and more connected, even if you're miles apart. Happier, lighter. Sharing stories with those we care about is a powerful way to feel less alone. And it may even confirm long-term health benefits. My guest today is Dr. Katharine Cheung, the Interim Director of the UVM Center on Aging. She's a nephrologist, that's your kidneys, and an Assistant Professor of Medicine at the Larner College of Medicine. Dr. Cheung joins us today to talk about a new study you can participate in that is exploring the connection between intergenerational storytelling and older adults' quality of life. Dr. Cheung, thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
So first, quickly tell me a little bit about the UVM Center for Aging. What's the mission?
Well, the mission of the Center on Aging is really to bring together people from across campus, students, faculty, staff, and the community, all as a collaborative hub, basically to try to improve the health and well-being of older Vermonters.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have three cores. We have a research core that I direct, and then there's the public policy and outreach core, directed by Kate Martin, and then the education core, which Marissa Byrne leads.
Okay, and you study all aspects of aging.
Right.
Okay, how do you recruit volunteers for studies?
One of the ways we recruit is using the Older Vermonters Research Registry, which was started by the Center on Aging. And it's a great way for folks to get involved if they are interested in hearing about research. They don't necessarily have to participate in research, but this would be a way for us to reach out to them and say, hey, we have a study on XYZ, and they can decide then if they want to participate. It helps us be a little bit more efficient with running studies, and it allows folks a chance to get involved.
Yeah, and I think we had some information on the screen so that people can see where they can go in order to participate in some of these studies. So let's talk about the current study, the Storylistening Project. What are you trying to learn?
Well, the purpose of the Storylistening Project is really to try to learn more about the experiences that older adults are having around social connection, intergenerational connection, loneliness and isolation. We want to also learn whether our story listening intervention improves connection and reduces loneliness. And we're also interested in what happens to the person who's listening. Are they changed, and in what way, by listening to stories in this intergenerational setting?
Right. And I know that you've had some experience with the Storylistening Project. There was a project that happened during the pandemic, which has also given you some information that is being incorporated into this current study, looking at loneliness and isolation. You want to tell us a little bit about that pandemic study?
Sure. So the Storylistening Project that began during the pandemic was all done virtually, of course, because of the pandemic. But it was really focused on what are the stories of grief and loss that folks are experiencing, someone that may have lost a loved one or lost a patient if they were a clinician. And the sessions lasted maybe 40 minutes or so. There were trained story listeners that met with the participants in the study one-on-one. And they had a recorded session, and that was a really interesting way for folks to share their stories in a time of great isolation, right? But we also learned that folks felt like they were really heard. They felt listened to. They felt like it was an easy thing to do as well, which is really nice. And their scores in terms of loneliness were reduced.
So I can see where that lays a really powerful foundation then for coming into this study, where now we're going to turn and look at older adults.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about story listening. I gather that story listening is almost the opposite of this type of conversation where you and I are having, where it's a very directed conversation, and I'm trying to kind of pull you through the conversation in order to accomplish a goal. Tell me what's different about story listening.
Yeah, story listening is really designed to be a non-directive, compassionate, active listening session where there isn't a script or an interview guide of questions that you're going through, but rather really just being in the present moment and allowing the person telling the story to go as deep and as long as they want to. And it's really focused on staying in the moment, being curious and compassionate.
Those are difficult skills.
Yes.
It's not something that we commonly do necessarily in our day-to-day conversations. As much as we would like to, we spend a lot of time thinking about what we're going to say next and what our response is going to be. Who is involved? Like, tell me about the story listeners. Who are they?
Yeah, well, we're so lucky. We have a great team of story listeners. They are UVM students, and they're coming from nursing.
Undergraduates, graduate students? Both.
We have undergraduates that are just passionate about caring for older adults. They might have an interest in aging. We put a call out so that we would have a really diverse group of students. There's nursing and medical students involved as well. And they all attended a foundational workshop on story listening. And then among the folks who attended the workshop, we hired a group that have had ongoing training weekly, basically, since April.
Fascinating.
And we just started the study a month ago.
Okay, and this is the intergenerational piece too. Why is it important to have our older adults talking to, say, younger people? What's important about that element of the project?
Yeah, that's another really kind of unique part of the project that we didn't have in the first version. We have an interest in intergenerational connection at the Center on Aging, and many of us are in our own little silos and just seeing folks around our similar age group. But we think there's great value in listening to and learning from each other across different generations. And we have a couple of different initiatives in the Center on Aging that really focus on that. And this is one element of the research study that we're curious about. And so if we have enough participants, we'll find out the answer to that, because we're looking specifically about parts of that. But I think that there are probably great lessons to be learned from both older and younger Vermonters.
I also can see what a great benefit it is for every member of the study. The younger members, the older members, those types of connections. So who can participate in the Story Listening Project? Like, tell us a little bit about the logistics of getting involved in the study.
So we have a goal of recruiting 200 participants in the next year or two, and we're looking for 100 older adults, 60 and older, living in the community, and 50 caregivers, so folks who are caring for an older adult, and then another 50 older adults who are in a nursing home or in the hospital.
Okay, super. And we have information on the Story Listening Project on the screen now. This is who you can contact in order to get involved, which I think would be valuable. I really do hope that this is going to pull some new participants into this.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, what is it like to be a part of the study? For our listeners who are thinking, you know what, I'm actually really curious about this. What am I getting myself into? What's it like?
Yes, so if you reach out to Susie Pratt, who's our study coordinator, she'll set you up to learn more about the study so you can decide if you want to participate. That's your informed consent. And then you will have some surveys to fill out. So we want to know a little bit more about who is participating and what's sort of your health status right now. And then we'll schedule a time for you to meet with one of the story listeners, and that can be in person at UVM. We have a nice private setting for you to do that in, or you can do it on Zoom if you prefer to stay at home. And that session, they tend to be about an hour, maybe a little less. Some people talk for longer, and that's okay too.
Sometimes you just fall into the conversation.
That's right.
Yeah, like I am right now. Great. Yeah. And what types of things then? So now, I mean, how does a conversation begin?
Right. So the story listening intervention begins with a prompt that is a one question just to open up the conversation. And then it's really in the storyteller's hands. Yeah. So you don't need to come prepared. We're looking for folks who are interested and willing to share or reflect on an experience related to connection, social connection, intergenerational connection, or loneliness or isolation. So don't feel like you have to have something ready to go.
Right.
But if you're just willing to
You bring
reflect on it.
yourself.
Yes.
You bring yourself, you
Absolutely.
bring your experience.
Yeah.
You start, you know, it's funny, a long time ago, this is going to sound like a segue, but I was learning how to bartend. And there was something about mixing drinks that could be very like, oh my gosh, where do you start? And the best advice I was given is don't worry about it. You start with just start anywhere and then go.
Yes.
And I think it sounds like to have a meaningful conversation, these types of conversations, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Pick one thing and then kind of
Yeah.
follow the conversation and see where it leads you.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And now we had talked about the fact that recruitment, I think it might say on our screen that until September 30th, but you said actually that this is ongoing, that participants can continue to sign up. How long is this study going to go on?
Hopefully a year.
Okay.
Again, we're looking for 200 participants, so it may take a year or two.
Okay, so a year or two. I'm imagining that already you're starting, especially from your experience with the pandemic study, that you're starting to draw lessons about the art of listening and talking. What are some small lessons that we can learn from the study about how to listen?
Yes. So I think one of the biggest lessons is to not have an agenda. So if a loved one comes to you and they need to share a story, they're talking with you, and if you can just try to be present and just really in a gentle way be curious and not lead them, really just see what it is that they need to get off their chest and see how that feels, because I think it'll probably feel pretty interesting.
I'm curious, in your own life, have you had any conversations like this with any elders in your own life?
Oh, great question. Yes, I think what I would say is the chance to just slow down is so precious. And we're even hearing from our story listeners, even though we've only been doing this for a month so far in the current study, that they look forward to this dedicated time that they have to just sit and be with a person. And they're noticing just this human experience is coming through. And that's so powerful for young people in their training to have that experience and a positive experience listening as well. They're going to take that forward in their lives.
It doesn't stay put. It's like once you've learned this skill, you can't help but continue to enact this skill throughout the rest of your life.
In fact, we had a participant say that she's been practicing this after having gone through it. She's been doing it with her friends.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so if you're interested in participating or have any questions about the storytelling study, please contact research coordinator Susanna Pratt, like we said, by September 30th, but it's okay, you have some more time, at 802-656-9912 or at Susanna Pratt at med.uvm.edu. Dr. Cheung, I want to thank you for coming and talking with me today and sharing your story. This has been an absolute pleasure. I've been trying to relax into listening and hearing this story as well. I'm going to take these active listening skills forward with me. Thank you, Vermont, for joining us. And thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.